What's up, everybody? Welcome to AskRinde. I'm Rinde Adebayo, digital entrepreneur, real estate entrepreneur, and top producing agent here in New Jersey, and welcome to AskRinde. If it's your first time on my channel, please hit the subscribe button and smash the like button. I do videos about foreclosure, income, and credit, and I would love to have you as a part of our growing network all around the country. So, single family versus multifamily foreclosures, that's the main question. I get a lot of inquiries regarding this, and this is probably one of my most asked questions recently in the last few months. And make no mistake about it, we take this situation very, very seriously. Way before I came on YouTube, I've been helping people with foreclosure. So this is not a topic that we take lightly. My channel, everything that we do, everything that we put out, whatever is content or any information, is really meant to help. This is something that I've been doing for years now. And I just came on this platform and I decided to come on YouTube this year to pretty much share, because I realized that there were far more people that needed help. And so that's the main reason why I'm on YouTube and Facebook and whatever other platforms I'm on. But regarding single family and multifamily, we get tons and tons of emails every day, at least over a dozen emails per day, with people reaching out for help. And this is not just homeowners. These are also investors, people who have actually taken on the investment hat and tried to basically invest in real estate and found themselves in a jam, in a situation. And so foreclosures do happen to multifamily homes. Now, statistically in the US, with our population, we're about 330 million people in the US right now. So out of that number, about maybe 127 million are households or people who own homes. And out of that number, the majority of foreclosure starts that we've saw this year, which were well over 429,000 in the US, majority of them, 82% of them, were single family homes. So you guys know my take on single family homes. I'm not a big proponent for purchasing single family homes, especially if you haven't already bought it. If you've already bought the property and you're in it, then definitely we'll have to actually kind of find ways to be able to help you. But if you are not yet a homeowner and you're looking to buy a single family home, there's a certain type of single family home that you need to buy. There's a certain things that need to go along with it for me to be able to endorse a single family home. But 9 times out of 10, if you follow my channel and you know me here on YouTube, I will tell you that it's not a good idea to buy a single family home. And the reason why I'm saying this is because I deal with the burden. I deal with so much on a weekly basis. We are helping. If you guys you're watching me now, guys, some of you guys who are members of the network and we're working together, and you know that we're helping you through your situation, you know what I'm talking about. When you buy a single family home, the entire burden of the property is on you. Everything is on you. So when that happens, basically, is whenever you're going to try to save the property or figure out a way forward, whatever that we're going to be doing is going to be based on also your capability and basically what you know, what you can do. So when it comes to fixing a single family situation, whatever we're going to do to basically help you to fix the situation can't factor in completely you, because simply you can't handle it on your own. And that's the problem with a single family home. So I'm not going to go into the details regarding the pros and the cons versus single family versus multifamily, but what I do want to touch on really is simply the differences. Obviously, the single family home is one unit. It's considered one unit. And that one unit basically means that it's one unit for one household. Whenever you're buying a single family home, you buy it via 2 ways. You can buy it via institutional lending, which means it's income-based lending. That will require a loan. That will require a loan from a bank that will be based on your income. You can get them the FHA loan, VA loan, conventional loan, 30-year, 15-year. There are different variations for that that you can actually do to be able to get a single family home. But the thing about it is that with that, everything is on you. So when the things go awry, if there's any life change in that, whether you lose a job or there's a divorce or something happens that's out of the ordinary, any issue regarding that property is going to be on you. The burden of that is on you. And the majority of the clients and people that we've helped and people I've helped over the years have been single family homes. There's been a slew of multifamily as well, but the majority of the burden and the problems that we have with foreclosure are in single family homes because the people just can't carry it. You know, life happens, like I've always shared. And so dealing with a foreclosure for a single family home and solving the issue not only takes creativity and takes basically more of a strategy session and more of a strategy outlook, but basically it also leaves the homeowner with a decision whether or not they're at the point in their life where they can stay with this or they need to move on. Versus a multifamily. So with multifamily, there's two ways that you purchase those too, and that's with via institutional lending, where you would actually take out a loan. Multifamily is everything from one family to a four family, and now you can also purchase those properties via FHA, or you can buy a multifamily with a conventional loan, obviously, and put X amount of money down based on your income. Those are income-based lenders, and those are income-based ways to be able to purchase the property. And now the other way that you can purchase the property will be asset-based lenders. Now these are lenders that don't require income. They don't require anything that has to do with you personally. These are all based specifically on the deal, meaning the property itself. So asset-based lending is different because it depends on the property itself, meaning the equity position in the property, the equity spread, the debt, and what you're purchasing the property for versus the ARV, the after repair value. Those things factor more when it comes to equity-based lending. And then there are different terms. There are some equity-based lenders, or there are some asset-based lenders that will give you 100% financing. There are some asset-based lenders that will give you 75, 85, 90%. It all depends on what they find and what their criteria is. But generally, those people will lend you the money, and then what they'll do is they'll charge you interest and also points on the money that they lend you. You're able to get into it. Now the reason why I said that is because there are two sides of it. There are people who purchase properties with their credit, and they buy it with a mortgage, and then they start from there. And these are generally newer investors where they don't have any experience, or they're new to it, and they just bought like a multi-family, like a 2-family property or 3-family or even a 4-family. And then as they go on, maybe they might buy a second or a third property, and then they go to asset-based lenders for that. Whatever the case is, whether they're starting out or they've been in the business and they're on their second or third or fourth property, the most important factor here is the fact that you have to insulate yourself from foreclosure or the threat of foreclosure. Now with a single family home, obviously the threat is more imminent because everything is on you. You don't have anyone offsetting the debt or the expenses. Everything is on you. Now, how can a multifamily fall into foreclosure? Well, it's very, very possible. Just like a single family home can actually fall into foreclosure, or multifamily can fall into foreclosure. And the reasons being is because life happens. You might buy a multifamily property, and then the tenants that you have in there don't pay. You might buy a multifamily, and then something happens, like I shared what happened with some of my clients down in Houston, where they had properties but they couldn't rent out because of a natural disaster. You have people also that are dealing with issues right now regarding lead. We have clients right here in New Jersey that have problems because they can't monetize the properties because of lead in the water. Even if you're renting out Section 8, or you have some TRA or some arrangements to be able to have tenants that will turnkey and make you rental income monthly, nobody's going to live in an area where your children have a threat of lead contamination. And so now these are some of the reasons why multifamilies fall into foreclosure. And then also too, it goes to how you bought the property. So how much you pay for the property, if you overpay for the property, what your monthly mortgage is versus how much you're making from the property, your income versus your expenses play a big difference. Sometimes people don't go into it the right way. They don't purchase it properly, and they end up in a situation where it falls into foreclosure later on. Obviously, the odds are less when it comes to multifamily, but it does happen. Now, how can you stop that? Stopping a multifamily foreclosure is far different than stopping a single family foreclosure. And this is why I wanted to do this video, to address some of this, because I get so many questions sent to me regarding this. I'm dealing with several investors now that have problems with their properties and they need help. So one important thing you need to know regarding foreclosure, whether it's a single family home or a multifamily home that has basically fallen into the grips of foreclosure, the proceedings basically are still the same. There's not much difference when it comes to that. The only difference is that generally what happens sometimes with a multifamily is the lender will try to see if they can get a hold of or get access to the tenants, to have the tenants stop making payments to you to pay them the money. instead. So basically they are losing, or they feel like they're losing money because you're not making payments to them. And so if they know that money is coming in, rental income's coming in from the property, they try to reach out to the tenants. And that's why sometimes multifamily homeowners run into a problem, because what happens is that if the mail goes to the property, the tenants see it and they feel like, you know, they're not supposed to open the mail, but sometimes they'll do, and they'll find out that the property is either in foreclosure. And I've had clients fall into foreclosure because the lender sent an intent to foreclose, and the tenants opened the mail and thought that the property was already in foreclosure, and somehow thought in their mind that they shouldn't pay the homeowner. And so the homeowner then fell into foreclosure because the mail went to the property. So one hack I'll share with you, and that we do with our clients, is if you own a multifamily property and you're not there, and it's not your primary residence, I strongly encourage you to have your mail go to a separate location and not that property. Obviously, if the property is not your primary residence, you should not have your mail going to the rental property, but some people do for whatever reason. And so if I were you, I would stop having the mail go there, because I've had many situations where people have actually fallen into foreclosure because their tenants stopped paying them, because somehow they thought in their mind that they didn't have to pay the homeowner because they were losing the property to foreclosure. As long as you own the property, you continue to basically make money off of it. That's a long story. There's a lot of strategy behind that. If you want to reach out to me, I can help you with that. But generally what I want to share with you is regarding foreclosure proceedings, because if you're going to need to know how to stop the foreclosure, you need to know the process. The process will still be the same. The lender is going to file a lis pendens to be able to start the process for foreclosing on the property, to recover the asset, because as far as they're concerned, they want to be able to get a hold of the property. Now, generally what we see servicers and lenders be more aggressive at times with multifamilies, because they know that the stakes are a little bit higher. Single family homes, depending on the price point, they will be aggressive, but they won't be as aggressive. Multifamilies, they take a two-pronged approach. They first try to go after the rental income if they can, get the tenants to pay them directly, and then also they're going to try to see how they can speed up that process and try to see how they can get the property, get a hold of it. And so generally the process for foreclosure recovery, whether it's an institutional lender that would actually start and file a lis pendens, go through the process to be able to get the property, would be the same or similar to an asset-based lender. An asset-based lender is probably going to move a little bit swifter, because that's a little bit less regulated, that world. And so they will have to actually go through legal proceedings, but you would have already signed off on forfeiture of the property anyway, so it'll probably be much faster with an asset-based lender than it would be an institutional lender, because asset-based lenders basically have you sign off that, on different terms. I know some of the asset-based lenders, what they will do is basically have you sign that if you don't repay the loan and you forfeit on your obligation, that they get a chance to seize the property. So it's much easier for them to be able to move forward and quote unquote foreclose versus an institutional lender. Now, an institutional lender will go through the process similar to what they would do on a single family home, whether you're in a judicial or non-judicial state, and basically go through their proceedings to be able to recover the property. But the most important thing is you need to know what your rights are as a multifamily homeowner, and also as a single family homeowner, and what you can or can't do regarding the lender's movement, and what you can do to be able to counteract that. So if you're having a multifamily property that's in foreclosure right now, and you're trying to figure out how to keep it, or you're trying to figure out what's the way forward, definitely click on the link below so that you can actually watch a webinar that I've done for you, and that is on the 3 hidden secrets to stop foreclosure. That speaks specifically to people who are multifamily owners that are facing foreclosure, and I've done this as a free webinar. It's on the 3 hidden secrets to stop foreclosure. It has a lot of insightful information that will help you in basically knowing what to do to stop your foreclosure. And obviously, if you're a single family homeowner and you're facing foreclosure, also check out the webinar so that you can actually get the keys and the tools. There's always hope. There's always ways to maneuver. What we specialize is in the creative, and that's in the creative of how you're going to win. You're not going to be able to read a book on this or Google this and figure everything out. You're not going to get a government program that's going to bail you out. They don't exist. these things have changed. The whole game, the whole dynamic of everything has changed. You're on your own. You're going to have to figure out ways how to move on. And the reality of the situation is that it is possible. It is possible to beat foreclosure nowadays. Many times a lot of people thought that this was only for during the recession period, but there are people that are facing foreclosure now. And so we have many hacks and ways to be able to help you. Watch the webinar, click on the link below. And if you need help with your property, whether it's a single family or a multi-family property, you're facing foreclosure, you're trying to figure out how to either keep the home or what the path is forward, what to do, how to solve the issue, what to do, how to address it, how to either stop the foreclosure or save the home or get more income for the property and figure out how to negotiate with the bank, reach out to us, click the link below, become a member, AskRinde.com. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me. My email is AskRindeNetwork@gmail.com. And until next time, thank you for watching. I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video.